Michelle Torrio, and this is the Be Mindful podcast. Hello, and welcome back to the Be Mindful podcast. If you are new here, welcome. We love to focus on mindset, manifestation, faith, letting go of limiting beliefs. If you're into any of that, please subscribe and follow wherever you are listening. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about the difference of quitting and outgrowing something. I thought this would be a really great topic and also very relatable because I understand what it's like to work towards something and then question if this is something that you still want. And my goal for this episode is for you to hopefully gain some clarity for yourself if you are someone that is going through this situation. And if you're not going through the situation, maybe you might one day and you'll be prepared and you'll have the steps that you could take on how you can respond to it. So we're going to get right into this episode. So this topic came up for me because recently I was thinking about my life and like where I am today, how grateful I am, how happy I am, and so proud of the life that me and my husband are building. And it made me realize that I have made so many different changes in my life and different pivots. And looking back at those moments, I felt very lost and uncomfortable. I kept questioning if what I was doing was even right. And that's what made me realize that there are so many of us who go through this where we're working towards something for a period of time. And sometimes we question if it's something that we even still want, which is really important because I believe that you should still take a moment to look at your goals every 6 months to a year and really ask yourself if that's something that you still want today. Because I want to remind you that it's safe to change your goals and it's okay if you no longer want something anymore. So it's really trying to understand like when is it time for me to pivot? And sometimes it could feel like you're quitting. I want you to ask yourself this. What if the thing that you're thinking of quitting is actually the thing that you've outgrown? We've been taught that quitting is failure. But what if staying is actually what's holding you back? This episode isn't going to be about discipline. It's going to be really focused on discernment and really knowing the difference between escaping discomfort and being redirected. So, of course, I want to give you an example. And that example is my own life. My entire life, I planned to be a dentist. Like, that was the goal. When I was in high school, I became a dental assistant. I was a certified dental assistant, and my plan was to become an entrepreneur. I wanted to be a business owner. I wanted to have my own dental office. I wanted to focus on braces specifically, so cosmetic work. And the office that I was working at, the dentist who owned it, it was his own business. And he even told me, if you continue on this path and you still want to be a dentist, I will give you my office, like I will sell it to you because my son doesn't want to do this. So it really felt like my entire life was already on its way and it was planned and everything was just going to work out, right? On top of that, when I went into college, I got into a dental program and I was just like making moves towards this path the entire time. While I was a sophomore or a junior in college, I can't really remember, I started questioning if this was the route I still wanted to take. My major was bio at the time before I shipped to biopsychology. And I really was questioning, like, do I even still love dentistry? Like, does it excite me? Is this something that I want? I share this experience with you, an example, because there are so many people out there who are working towards something for so long and they actually don't even have the excitement or love for it anymore. And I understand that no matter what, there's going to be tedious work that we have to do when it comes to reaching our goals, and we won't love every part of it. And that's part of the journey. However, there is a difference between knowing when something is no longer resonating with you and knowing that you are just stopping because it's hard or you feel like you aren't capable. Like that is when you are quitting versus recognizing, oh, this is just not me anymore. Like, this is not part of my journey. Like, this doesn't feel right. It's the feeling inside that helped me make a decision to change my major and change my path. So if you are someone that's actually experiencing this, Ask yourself, like, is this me quitting or is this just not for me anymore? I know that sometimes it could be really hard to know the answer right away, and I'm not telling you that. Sit with it. Ask yourself this over and over, and also ask yourself how you feel. Once you achieve that goal or get to where you want to be, like envision that, right? How would you feel? Are you doing it just to feel like you have to do this to be successful? You have to do this because you have to prove to other people that you can do it, or are you really doing it for yourself? I was able to pivot and no longer take this route because I sat with it for a few months actually. Because I started to realize that it wasn't something that excited me anymore, that's how I was able to decide, okay, I don't want to go this route anymore. I'm going to do something different. And that's when I changed my major and I wanted to go the route of neuroscience. Like I didn't know where that was going to take me, but I knew that learning about the brain was so cool to me. So what happens after you decide to pivot? Well, honestly, you're going to feel uncomfortable. You might even feel some guilt. You might feel some doubt. You'll question what you did was right. But there's also like this sense of relief, like some weight is lifted off your shoulders because you're no longer taking steps towards something that doesn't feel aligned with you. Leaning into your intuition takes time, but the more you do it, the easier it is. And then you start to understand, like, oh, this feels so right to me. That saying, like listening to your gut, like I feel like I've been able to strengthen that over the years. And then also, I pray, I ask God for guidance. Please show me an obvious sign and tell me what to do. But something that really has helped me is just the excitement of wanting to do something different, but also giving myself grace and allowing myself to sit with it before I make a new decision. I think you should sit with it, allow yourself to really feel through it, and see what your life would look like if you were to change and pivot. Like, does it excite you? And if it scares you, that's normal, but excitement and joy is like where I think we need to focus on being led. And that's what God wants for us. That's what the universe wants for us. And when you do something that gives you joy, that brings you joy, even if it's uncomfortable, that's when you're in alignment, even if you don't understand what's happening in that moment. So let's talk about the difference of quitting and outgrowing. I'm going to focus on quitting first. Quitting is when you look at your situation and you just think, I'm not good enough. This is too much. I can't do this. That is when you are quitting, when you are using excuses, like honestly, using excuses that is holding you back from really showing up fully and really seeing like if this is for you. So really it's you avoiding. That is when you can really distinguish if you are quitting something or you're just outgrowing it. It's really rooted in limiting beliefs and emotional resistance. And maybe this is so obvious to some people, but I just want to make sure I go over the differences so that you yourself, when you're in a situation like this, you can recognize the difference like pretty easily. Now, outgrowing is driven by clarity and misalignment, where you have tried over and over, but it just no longer fits. Like you feel like you're being pulled somewhere else. So, for example, when I was pivoting from wanting to be a dentist my entire life, legit since I was like 6, 7 years old, to focusing on the brain and learning about the brain, I felt pulled to that because it's something that excited me. And I kept thinking about it over and over and over again. That's when I have been able to recognize, like, oh, this keeps coming up for me. Why? Is this something that I should try? It keeps coming up in my mind and it's something that's super interesting to me. It's really this like energetic pull. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's like an inner feeling that you're being pulled somewhere else. Me going through that experience in college wasn't the first time either. I actually was in a doctorate program to be a clinical psychologist, and I left after my first year. That sounds so crazy to so many people and probably sounds like I gave up and failed, but honestly, I did not like it. Like it just wasn't for me. I was being called to come into this coaching space. It is something that isn't realistic to a lot of people and isn't the route that people say is going to lead you to success, but I didn't care. Again, I was feeling pulled to do this. So when you're outgrowing something, it's really having self-trust and recognizing that you are going through an identity expansion and that it's time for you to pivot and take this aligned action to where you're feeling called. So how to tell the difference between quitting and outgrowing is that quitting is reactive. Outgrowing feels grounded, even if it's scary. These are a few questions you can ask yourself and reflect if you're going through this situation. Asking yourself, am I escaping discomfort? Or does this no longer feel aligned with me? Like, do I have new goals that I want to focus on? Do I feel pulled? A really great question you can ask yourself is, if this was easy, would I still want it? Another question you can reflect on is this coming from fear or from peace? Challenge yourself with these questions, journal about it, see what comes up for you. Sometimes God removes the desire from you before he reveals the next step. You know that saying, when one door closes, another opens? That's pretty much what's happening, where he's cracking the door open for you to see what's available, and he's giving you the choice to decide like where you want to go. And a really great quote that I've told myself often is that redirection is not rejection. You are being guided to where you are meant to be. I love talking about this too because I know that there's so many people out there that stay in careers because they feel like they need to and that it's the only way they're going to achieve the life that they want. That is a limiting belief. You are keeping yourself in a box. So if you're listening to this episode, this is a reminder for you to not limit yourself. Remember that there are so many opportunities and there's so much available to you. God will throw them your way. Lean on him, pray to him, ask him to guide you, ask for clear guidance. Whether you believe in God or not, trust that something out there wants you to have the life that you want. If things were easy, everyone would have the life that they want, but that's just not how life works. Life is like a game where there are challenges that constantly come our way, and we just have to own the game and really trust that anything's possible. So something I want to remind you of is that just because you started something doesn't mean you're called to finish it, or maybe you're not called to finish it in the same season, in the same way. Kind of like my podcast, I literally gave myself an entire year without it. And I didn't need to explain that to anyone. Like, this is something that I had to go through on my own and come back because I felt called to come back. It felt right to come back at this time. So even if you walk away from something, it does not erase your effort. Don't tell yourself that it was a waste of time because you went through that experience to gain something out of it regardless. The older you get, and you go through your experiences, you look back of the experiences you had and you're like, oh, I probably went through that season to help me through the season I'm in now. It's all different perspectives. It's really recognizing that your time was never wasted. You went through that season for a purpose, and that's how you should view it. Not a waste of time, and also not viewing it as if you failed, because you have every opportunity to turn your life around and still achieve the things that you want. Instead, how you can view it is that you listened to yourself. You leaned into what felt right to you, and that's exactly how you should be leading your life with. So if you stop something because you outgrew it, remember, you didn't quit. You responded to growth. This is exactly the kind of work we do in my NLT coaching program. We learn how to separate fear from alignment and build that self-trust muscle. I'm actually working on creating a new free masterclass. So if you want to get updates on that, follow me on Instagram or even just join the waitlist for the NLT, and I will make sure you get an email the moment I have a date for this free masterclass. I would also love to meet more of you because I am seeing my audience grow more, and it's so exciting because I just want to put faces and names to my subscribers. So before I end this episode, I want to remind you that the real question isn't asking yourself if you should quit. It's asking yourself, who am I becoming? And does this work that I'm doing right now align with my future self? I hope you found this episode helpful for you today, and a reminder that your path doesn't have to be perfect. Just keep going after what you desire. Keep trusting in yourself. And always remember that any challenge that comes your way, it's only temporary. Every challenge you've reached in your life, you've gone through it before. So if you come to a situation like this in your life where you're questioning if you have outgrown something, that's just another challenge, right? It's really recognizing what you're being called for, what excites you, what you need to lean towards. Even if it's uncomfortable, but it's something that really excites you, go for it. Don't doubt yourself. Show up for it, and somehow it'll work out, and steps will come and you will be guided. And that is all for today's episode. If you enjoyed, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and feel free to comment below if you have any other topics you want me to focus on. And don't forget to be mindful, because who you are from within will attract from the out. See you in the next episode. Bye.